Every time has its moment, and the moment for this time is now. Welcome to the Plutonian Show. My name is Roberto Alba, and today we're going to talk about the recent eclipse that happened in the sign of Scorpio on the 25th of October. Now, this was a very interesting eclipse because it was a solar eclipse and the sun was in conjunction with Venus. Now, it's interesting whenever you see transits that happen and that they have a consequence that you can see as it happens. Um, uh, I've been keeping an eye on the forecast. Uh, and to especially when they're transits like this, because eclipses are fated. Like eclipses are gonna happen at a specific time, and due to their nature, because of the it's it's because it's an alignment, is uh because of that alignment the energies shift. If it's a solar eclipse, because there's gonna be um it's gonna be a disruption in the flow of solar energy, if you want to see it like that. uh, there's gonna be a moment where there's gonna be a disruption, an energetic disruption, and that happens on an eclipse. I myself was born 5 days before an eclipse, um, and it was very interesting to see um, as an eclipse happens, if there are events that happen with it. And one of the things that happened on the eclipse is that one of my aunts passed away on the very day of the eclipse. The very day of that eclipse, she passed away. Now, even though her health was fading and whatnot, and um, she it was her time to move to the other plane. Nonetheless, it was uh it was very stark to have it happen on that day, because uh being me being into astrology, I usually try to stay, you know within. I keep an eye on the days when things happen, and that was the first thing that I noticed when my mom told me. I was like, "Wow, it's the day of the eclipse," and it was because the planet Venus was involved. You know, because usually when an eclipse happens, it's like there's a disruption. Whether it's like it's just that's what happens, and sometimes it happens like that. Um, a few days later, the father of one of the kids that I manage and my work, his father passed away. That was also kind of striking because of the fact that the father was from the sign of Taurus, and these eclipses are happening in the axis of Taurus and Scorpio. So whenever we see an eclipse happening, the eclipses are a very they I mean, it's the ancient used to call them portals. I mean, their eclipses have been regarded uh, through all cultures for millennia. It is it is a natural phenomenon that has sparked much study and has triggered the imagination of the of humans and civilizations for thousands of years. And it's very interesting to observe the connections of eclipses when things when events happen, and sometimes are very like strong events. um whenever whenever an eclipse happened, like I said, I mean, I myself, I was born 5 days before an eclipse. The interesting thing is that I wasn't supposed to be born on that month. I was born on the eighth month of my mom's pregnancy, and I was born whenever there was a transit on her fifth house with the sun conjunction with Jupiter, and there was gonna be an eclipse around 5 days before my birth. Sometimes eclipses are paid about things that begin or things that end, or like the song says, every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. There's gonna be another eclipse, and it's gonna be a lunar eclipse in the sign of Taurus in on the 8th of November. But as we are in this eclipse season, it's it's very starting to see that energy play out. Whenever you see a transit happening, and then you see it, um, and then you see the manifestation of a transit and its earthly equivalents, it's that that's really um, that's really when you see things play out and things work, because you're seeing astrology happening in real time. And a lot of the times as astrologers, we are going to be uh, working in hindsight. We're going to be tracking things back. We're going to look at things that already happened and look at the planets, how are they uh, positioned, and we're going to look at how things happen, and we're going to go from there. Um, this eclipse gave me an opportunity to look at the planets in the position that they were when I was born, but I placed them on my mother's chart, and and completely changed my perspective. When instead of making it about instead of looking at the chart as my story, uh, I put my chart as part of my mother's story, and to read it as it happened, it was very interesting. It was something very interesting how that happened, and it was because of the eclipse. This eclipse made me see something that I hadn't seen, and that, in all fairness, had always been there, but I never took the time to. I never saw it that way. So that's uh, that's the thought that I wanted to share with you this eclipse season. Um, Remember, we are made of stars and planets, and it's by learning the language of the stars that the stars get to know themselves. Until next time, I'm Roberto Alba. This is the Plutonian Shore, and I'll see you next time.